the the kid needs to watch this, and it shows, and it shows me how he slaughtered a pig. It cuts the neck of the pig in front of me.
God.
And then I don't know, I don't know why, I remember this scene, and no one ever really managed to explain me why they were doing this practice, but they poured boiling water in the ear of the pig, and the pig was screaming and screaming. And I remember I was very distressed watching that.
But then in the night, I had nightmares. I had dreams of these animals having a human face, talking to me and saying, "So you killed us. Was it fun? Was it worth for you to end our life for that?" And the other, and I saw these big birds with these human faces talking to me, and I understood, wow, this is wrong. I will never shoot animals anymore. But yeah, a few years I had this flexitarian delusional lifestyle that was enough. And then someone told me it's like beating up your girlfriend once a week or punching a kid once a week. Is it good? I said, not really. Well, then what you're doing is not really good. Siamo live. We are live.
Marco, it's your time to do the intro.
Ah, 8, 3 M. Mindful man movement.
What's
Still
going
moving
on,
forward.
guys?
What's going on?
Welcome into another episode. Today we're going to talk about something that it's very close to our hearts, very important value for us, which is veganism and being vegan. Well, we're both vegan, and we're both activists as well. And today we're just going to focus about our journey into veganism, how we made that connection to make the change, and a bit of our journey in being an activist, how it is navigating the world as a vegan, what changed in our life when we went vegan, and what motivates us to continue to be animal rights activists. I just want to note that for the people that is listening and is looking for a nutrition advice around a plant-based diet, you'd be better off watching our previous episode, because today we're going to mainly talk about this life journey and yeah, the ethics and the values around veganism. So, how long have you been vegan, Marco?
Um, it is around 3.5 to 4 years, approximately. 4 years, maybe, something around that.
Cool. So I think it's the same for me too. But we both started with a plant-based diet first, right? Before that.
Absolutely. And before that, even if this is nothing that can be labeled as vegan, I was thinking that I was almost vegan, being a flexitarian. For a period of my life, I felt good in reducing and eating meat once a week as a celebration because I was eating it every day. And so for a few years, until someone told me, Marco, what you're doing is not okay, because I thought, hey, wow, I could pride myself of reducing and eating once a week, and every now and then a good piece of cheese from the happy cows. And someone called me then out and said, no, that's not the case. But yeah, a few years I had this flexitarian delusional lifestyle that was enough. And then someone told me it's like beating up your girlfriend once a week or punching a kid once a week. Is it good? I said, not really. Well, then what you're doing is not really good. If you can avoid to punch your girlfriend also on the weekend and avoid punching kids also once a week, you should do that. I said, okay, fuck, you're right. And from that day,
Yeah.
which was around 4 years ago, I could not excuse myself anymore. Even when I had the cravings, which I still have up to today, even yesterday, I was not in a good mood. I went out. I said, "Oh fuck, I would really crave some I don't know, fried chicken, grilled meat." And then I said, "Ah, what the fuck? Of course not." But you know, like this
Mm.
thing is,
But I think perhaps the audience that's listening that is not vegan is not right now. Many people perhaps do not understand this metaphor. Let's say, yeah, this metaphor.
yeah,
Um, and so I just want to make the point that there is, even though in the world everything is mixed together, there is actually a difference between being plant-based and being vegan, right?
sure,
So Marco, what he's explaining is that change might be enough for someone that is doing it for the environment or for health. You're really minimizing the amount of animal products that you're consuming, and so you're having this positive impact to the environment and to your health anyway, because you're eliminating a lot of it.
yeah,
But when it comes to veganism, which is its correct definition is that it's the ethical principle that humans should live without exploiting animals. In that case, is not going to be enough to reduce, because as Marco said, if we consider other injustices as an example, we would never accept any percentage of that injustice to happen if we are truly against it. So I was kind of similar to Marco, but it was kind of even kind of more extreme. For me, was once per year or a couple of times per year. But I want to ask a question that is usually never asked during this kind of podcast when they interview vegans, because I've been in different podcasts and they always ask me, how you went vegan. But they always, I think, miss a very important question, like who was Marco and how was his relationship and view on animals before Marco even knew about veganism.
that's a very very nice question. I I will say that the shift in my identity and personality became is big, like shifting the attention from a egoistic point of view in which it was about me, like, hey, but if I want to do this, if I want to allow myself to do this, I think that's okay, to shifting to the perspective of, hey, but it is not about me, this is not a personal choice. If I do something that impacts the life of others, I can see all people around me, they never connected this dot, that it's not, it's okay for me, I'm okay with it. And once you see, hey, actually, maybe for me it's also okay to, I don't know, steal something or kill someone for fun. And this is the case because we are killing, exploiting, using, and doing horrible things to animals for our pleasure. In the moment in which we shift in perspective, this will shift in all areas in our life. That what we are doing cannot come before the interest of other sentient beings. I cannot put my interest over someone else, no matter the species. You know, I cannot force my will over other humans and other animals for my advantage. And once we understand that we should put the ego away and see it in a logical way, like, okay, it's logic. I don't want this to happen to me. I don't want this to happen. Let's say I have a kid. I don't want that someone takes my kid away for cooking it, which is absurd. But this is what is happening. If I don't want this for myself, if I would never allow this for myself, and I would never allow this to happen to, I don't know, the people I know, I would be, oh my god, did I take your kid away and they cooked it? They would say, well, this is insane. If we start to see that this is insanity, is something that we were supporting, and we were completely blinded by it because we were thinking it's just a cow, it's just a pig, it's just a chicken, it's just a fish. They don't have the same uh, level of consciousness, and we were not seeing them as individuals. It's a fish, but it's not like I am Marco, you know, you're Stefano. But in the same way, we would say, yeah, but it's just humans. like in the past we had it with people of color. They were not seen as individuals. They were property. They were traded. And once we see that we had to do this shift, also with women at the beginning, it's just women. They don't even have to vote. They are just here to serve men. Like white men, us. We managed for a while to think that there is only us and everything else is an extension of us. It's a very kind of narcissistic. I don't know what's the way of seeing this, but everything is an extension of what we want, what we need, and is here for us to serve us, and we can take it in the way we think, as much as we think, and period. So we thought that animals are here for us, women are here for us, people of color are here for us, and not with us. And then step by step, we start to understand actually women, they fight back, they made it clear, they had a voice, they also could talk in a clear language because they used shields, protest, and made clear we don't like this, we are not objects. They realized it's not okay, and so people of color and also white people started to understand, hey, actually it's not right. We build our cautions, and this is exactly the same thing. We understood that dogs, cats have a conscience, they're individuals, and this is applying to all animals. So no cow is like the other cow, they have their preferences, they have their subjective perception of life. They want to live, that's why they feel pain and they run away. This is for the ones that are sometimes comparing literally a carrot with a dog. It's like comparing, I don't know, a tomato with Stefano. Like there is a lot of difference.
100%.
Yeah, this is sometimes like it's crazy what people bring.
I
But
mean, and this
yeah, thank you.
this that you just explained is just the, as you said, logical way of thinking. And after that, once you have understood that rationally it is wrong to make this discrimination and treat animals like the non-vegan population is treating them,
Yeah,
being vegan is the right thing to do if you are a good person, if you're a just person. And actually, you did not answer my question, but
ask it
we still
again.
got a good
I
point
got lost. I
out
got
of it.
lost.
I will answer myself first,
Yeah.
and then you go. So my answer was about who was Marco and Stefano before before even knowing about veganism. What was the relationship with animals? What did you think about animals? And because many people, there is people that think like, oh, it's all about the way you were raised, like we were born vegan, or that everyone who's vegan is some kind of very empathic person towards animals, always super loved animals.
True. Yeah. Right.
They kind of tend to put people who go vegan in a box
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
of super, sometimes hippie kind of people, and or people who have never seen uh, farms and animals being killed. And for me, for example, is absolutely not the case. Like I come from south of Italy, and I was living in a small hill, and so there was a lot of nature, and people had big houses, and all of my neighbors, they had family farms. And so I would go to see my friends, to my neighbor, and I would see the rabbits in the cages, chickens in the cages. I would see the grandma running to catch the chicken and pull the neck. I would see how they would skin the rabbits, blood everywhere. So those were things that were in front of me all the time. And I even once went to another place, and this was a very, like thinking about it now as an adult and as someone that has thought a lot around veganism and the position of humans and how we got to this point where we are enslaving and torturing animals to a level that humans cannot even imagine, because we have never lived that,
Yeah.
even in the past, not only in the present. is the way we get conditioned to actually think that animals are object, are resources is crazy. Because basically we went to this place where my mom was being a nurse, and there was a farmer with animals. And basically at some point the farm, I think I was 6 or 7 years old, and the farmer was like to my mom, come here, the kid needs to watch this. And it shows, and it shows me how he slaughtered a pig. It cuts the neck of the pig in front of me.
God.
And then I don't know, I don't know why, I remember this scene, and no one ever really managed to explain me why they were doing this practice. But they poured boiling water in the ear of the pig, and the pig was screaming and screaming. And I remember I was very distressed watching that.
God.
On the other side, though, when I was watching small animals, that was feeling more normal to me. I don't know if it was because they were small, they were not being that noisy. Well, they were probably noisy. I don't know, probably it was because I was seeing that daily, right? Maybe that's why. But that shows how, like, naturally we do not want that when we are kids. I mean, I don't know any kids are not born psychopaths. So usually they are empaths, and they love animals. But then we are thrown in this world where there is animal exploitation and torture everywhere, and we get conditioned to it. And I was so conditioned, that together with the fact that I didn't develop a good emotional intelligence as a kid, because of my parents were a bit far from me, let's say, emotionally, for different reasons. And so I didn't feel much for animals. So I wouldn't say I was an animal lover. I was really thinking that animals are below us. In fact, I never, there are many vegans that are natural empaths. In fact, like, most vegans are women as well. And it's true, like, many vegans that I meet, they are usually many of them, they went vegetarian many years ago, or there were people that already respected insects, and at least the animals around them. But I was burning insects. Like, I was playing with a lighter and I was going around burning insects.
Yeah.
And I remember once we tried to attach a small how do you call the mini fireworks, that you. Yeah, and I tried to attach it to a lizard and turn it on, so I could go back to his. I'm laughing because that's crazy,
Yeah, it's crazy.
And because now I just want to say that now I don't do that. Okay, if I have a fly, I will capture it, and put it outside. Even if I have mosquitoes trying to bite me, I don't squash them on my skin. I would, do like this with my hand and push them away. And so, and even when I had a dog, and my dog was coming below my blanket, I would go with my dog to my friends. I was spending a lot of time with my dog, and it was a real friend to me. But I still had that thing that at the end of the day, the dog was not living his life. It was there for me. We also bought that dog because I wanted a specific race. He was a Jack Russell, was called DJ. Now he's dead. He used to sing. He used to sing with the TG1 intro song. That's the news from Italy.
Yeah, it was.
TG1. He was singing. I have a video. I'll show you.
Wow.
And so, yeah, like, and I remember once he was biting the table, the furniture, right?
Yeah.
And I found out, so it was here. I looked down. It was biting the furniture, and I slapped him very hard. I never slapped him so hard, because I was like, like, what are you doing? This is not something that you do. But Then I looked at him, and it was like, bro, what the fuck, you know? Because I slapped it so hard that he kind of flew for a few meters. You know, it's very small dog. It was a Jack Russell, and I realized where in that moment I realized where that anger came from. It came from this ego that this dog should behave the way I think he should behave. But I realized in that moment that it was not his fault at all. It was just doing his thing. He didn't know, and he never did it again, neither. And I could have explained him with love instead of violence. And so yeah. So as you can see, like, I was not a natural animal lover. That's what I'm trying to say. So how was your relationship with animals?
To be honest, I find myself quite a lot in this. As a kid, I was also doing these experiments and burning insects. I had always a weird feeling after, but in the moment I was having fun. Uh, I got to a point in which the partner of my mother, he had a little air rifle with little metal bullets at home. And since we were living on the last floor in the center of Rome, there were a lot of roofs, and on the roofs there were sometimes cats or pigeons. And I had the great idea. I was around, I don't know, 17, 18 years old, to start shooting at animals with this little rifle. And um, and I remember very well that I was having fun when the cat was running away or hurt. Or one time I even catched a pigeon in a point in which I hit him so well that he could not fly upwards anymore. He was stalling like a helicopter. He was in the middle of the air and fighting for his life, and then he slowly started to go down. And I realized in that moment that the animal was fighting for his life because he was in a lot of pain but didn't want to give up. And even though in the moment I was like, okay, fuck, that was not nice, but I didn't understand how subconsciously this impacted me, because I thought, okay, I have a rifle, let's have some fun. But then in the night, I had nightmares, I had dreams of these animals having a human face talking to me and saying, so you killed us. Was it fun? Was it worth for you to end our life for that? And I saw these big birds with these human faces talking to me. And I understood, wow, this is wrong. I will never shoot animals anymore. And this was the first click. Okay, this is weird. I don't want to
Yeah.
hunt. But I kept on eating animals. I didn't make the connections. Like, I'm not killing them. They
And
are
by the way,
fun.
I just want to say, like, this mechanism, I think it happens also with the people that are on the extreme. Like, the person that felt this urge to show me how he was murdering a pig. This is still a defense mechanism.
Of course.
Because inside, I think, there's very few people that are truly psychopaths and are happy doing that. But most people, I think, they are really, really conditioned, and he had this urge to not feel like guilty and to get more people
Yeah, yeah.
being witnesses and collaborating in his not right thing that he's doing.
Of course, we want to have, like, it does feel way less bad if these things are celebrated. That's why we celebrate these horrible things, like, I don't know, the corrida where the bullies kill. Tradition, beautiful. Like, actually, this is a massacre. It's horrible. Like, there are so many things which are absolutely horrible, but we dress ourselves up. And there is also here in Germany, Schlachtfest. There is a celebration of the slaughtering, where they slaughter the animal and everyone is cheering, like, like, it's insane. Like, this is insane. And we are raised since kids to see this as normal. And especially what I wanted to say is that once I realized this is wrong and I stopped killing animals myself, which is at least something, but I could not completely see past that point. And since I was raised and I was really enjoying the meat, the cheese, like for clear taste reasons, like you can have pleasure out of these things. I would lie if I would say I didn't enjoy it. I loved it, and I was seeing the product finish. Like if you see a salami with truffle, you see it has a nice texture, it has a nice smell. You don't see the scene that you saw. You don't see the pig where they pour the hot water in the ear. They don't see the blood splashing. Because if I would have had to do that, I would have probably not want the nice truffle salami. I would say, you know what? Is there something else? But very often people are, most at least, not those who coming from small towns inside of Italy, but most people, they go to the supermarket, go to the butcher, they buy the product already processed or cut in pieces that they can throw in their pan, but they would never be cold to see an animal being slaughtered. And even those who would be cold, it's because there's something broken inside of us. When I was shooting pigeons, it's because I was very distant to my empathic part. I was an asshole. I was a young bully in Rome, doing fighting sports. I thought I was a good person. But in reality, I was a little bully. That it is what it is. Like I was seeing myself as a strong Roman guy that is good in shooting with a rifle, and he's having fun, showing it to his young brother. Hey, look, I will shoot the pigeon. Ha 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 ha. And then we were both shocked when we saw this scene of the pigeon surviving barely. I mean, he didn't survive, died gradually. And also thinking back, I remember very well when I was burning insects. I remember very well when I did kill caterpillars when I was in kindergarten. I remember very well these acts of violence I had towards animals. I also remember very well my acts of violence towards humans. Every time I raised my hand towards an animal or a human, if it was not for self-defense, I remember it very well because it's something that is really bad and it's traumatic also for us to do. But we have to acknowledge that what we are doing is wrong, take accountability, and when we realize that this is wrong, we have to change and not.
Yeah.
Most people take partial accountability. Say, "Yeah, I know it's bad. I should not do it," but they do it. Keep on doing.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. I think that's a good point. I perhaps I wanted to say it a little later in this episode, but
Yeah.
yeah, like I want to, like people always get comfort in the concept of kind of being vegan is a journey,
Yeah.
but the fact that we are telling you our journey doesn't mean that you need, once you have all the information, then you're justified to not change because it takes time, is a journey, right? We got to the point where we had all the information, and when everything was clear, we changed. Okay, so if you know everything and you don't change, we have a problem there.
Yeah.
You are intentionally doing something that is wrong and is unjust.
Yeah.
And I wanted to also, because it's curious, all of these stories that we have as vegans or even passionate activists before being vegan. And Paul Bashir, the founder of Anonymous for the Voiceless, the most effective and global vegan outreach, activism, animal rights organization.
Yeah.
Let's put all the words in.
Yeah.
And so he told me this story that when he was a kid, I don't remember if he had chickens in the house or he was in a place with chickens. Okay, he was playing with the chicken, and at some point he threw a rock to the chicken, and he thought that the chicken would be scared of him, but instead the chicken stopped, looked at him, and he attacked him. So Paul Bashir was like, "What the fuck? I didn't expect that. I thought like I'm in power, and I'm feared." And so that was a little bit of a click moment for him as well.
Yeah.
And I was like, and she was like, "Hi, what?" Whoa. I can imagine the scene. All right, sounds good. And so we both went plant-based first. I guess it's my time now. How we made the connection with, let's say, with veganism in a sense, but we didn't understood the ethics. We didn't connect with the injustice that animals go through yet.
Yeah.
And for me, it happened during a trip in Asia. So I've been traveling 6 years ago, 7 years ago, in Philippines, Cambodia, Thailand, and Laos. And happened something that's kind of common in people that go traveling there, getting food intoxication. And I got fever. And then I made the mistake of taking some medicine to stop myself from having diarrhea and vomiting. So instead of allowing my body to get everything out, it kept it in, and I felt worse. So I got high fever. I felt very, very bad. So obviously I couldn't move. So we couldn't continue traveling. And and we were already in Asia since more than a month now. So we traveled a lot, took a lot of buses, and I've seen a lot of the surrounding and the nature. And something that really stuck with me as we traveled is that since in Asia they don't have the same law enforcements that we have here in Europe when it comes to, cleaning the street and hiding all the damage the humans are doing. You have it much more in front of you in Asia. So, I would see the rivers hyper polluted, the rubbish, the deforestation happening in the mountains. I would also see animals being mistreated, but I don't know, I still didn't have that feel for animals directly because, again, there were animals that I thought it's normal to treat that way, but there was still something that wasn't aligned in my brain. And yeah, so with this in mind, while I was not able to continue travel, I decided to research and watch some documentaries, and I bumped into Cowspiracy, a very good documentary, and it made me realize that environmentally the world is fucked. Like a way of fuckness that you cannot imagine. And by the way, I just want to say that it's crazy that people are not impacted from this data, because I would when I watched that I thought that everyone would be impacted by it, but then apparently not.
Yeah.
And so I was shocked by the fact that environmentally the world is in a very red zone, and obviously Cowspiracy really focuses on the impact on animal agriculture on the environment, and that there were some crazy numbers like the fact that the Amazon forest is already deforested by 50%, and almost 95% of it is because of animal agriculture. So knowing all of these facts, I was like, no, I am not in for this. And in that moment, I decided to be pescatarian for some reason. Well, the thing is, like, the Cowspiracy is truly focusing a lot on land animals and not much on the waters.
Did you watch
And that
Conspiracy though?
I then watched Seaspiracy, but I was already vegan. But it's even crazier than Cowspiracy. Like
Yeah, it is.
the ocean, the waters are even more fucked than the land actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, I decided to be pescatarian, but I actually then decided that I didn't want to eat fish also because I don't know. I was still I was in Thailand, and we were at port, and there was this boat there with the engine on, and there was black smoke coming out of the exhaust. And I don't know, just watching the black smoke going inside of the water made me think, no, the waters, the oceans, the seas, they also need respect. And so I said, okay, no, I'm not eating any animal products. However, seafood and fish, especially like prawns and mussels, what was the thing that I loved the most taste-wise. So
Yeah.
I decided to allow myself to have it a couple of times per year. You know, so it was like during Christmas and New Year's Eve, I would allow myself to do it. And I was thinking, you know, like if everyone would change the way I changed, then we probably wouldn't have this huge problem when it comes to the environment. And so yeah, so this has been the first step, getting closer to a more mindful way of living. Now, how did you when did you go plant-based?
Yeah, I mean, I have to say that what impacted me, yes, I saw first Seaspiracy and then Cowspiracy, weirdly enough, and watching these documentaries impacted me a lot. I was like, okay, fuck, this is what we need to do. Like, after I watched it, I could not act the same way. You know, like it would be so irresponsible. You know, like it was like, okay, wow, this is the cause of most problems that will eventually lead all of us humans and all the world to collapse. I mean, we are heading towards a wall, and we have the steering wheel in our hands, and if we don't steer like this, we are gonna bang against the wall, and we're gonna be very hurt. And so I said, okay, at least let me, let me, you know, for myself. It was not even so much for the fishes and animals. I didn't have this empathy yet, but it was more for me. Like I wanna survive. I don't want the next generation to live in misery. So that was very impactful. But also the videos I saw from PETA, the organization, that this video was going around on Instagram and was coming again and again. And I watched it, and I saw this first footage of pigs getting kicked and with electric moved, and hearing them scream. I thought, my God, this is horrible. This is not worth a slice of salami. This is not, you know, like I didn't even know that there was the vegan alternative. You know, like back then I said, okay, even if I have to give up on so much pleasure, it's still the right thing to do compared to that. But I didn't go completely vegan. I said, okay, I will reduce it, and when I have a big craving, I will do it. I also loved fish, and for the last thing I took away was oysters. Even when I was vegan, one time I was with a friend of mine, and we were in this fancy place here in Kadeve, the rooftop of a high-end shopping center. And then she's vegan, but then she said, let's order some oysters. But I said, but this is not vegan. And she said, no, oysters is okay, because oysters, they don't have a nerve system, they don't feel pain. They are like plants. They just
Not true.
it's not true exactly.
Not
I
true, but
actually,
yeah. Well, I can say it after. I can continue. Continue.
yeah. But back then I was like, if it's really the case, maybe it's okay. And then I did it, but I felt horrible after this. After research, do they really? And then it was not clear, but they do have a nerve system. They are not plants. And after how bad I felt after that, I said, okay, not even oysters, not nothing, no animal will be yeah, consumed by me anymore. And also from there, I also stopped, not only with the diet, but then I also started to buy vegan shoes. Now I got some vegan gloves for the motorcycle rides. I started to shift completely. You know, like I still have leather things that I'm wearing from the past, like some old leather jackets, some leather boots that are, you know, like party boots that they have very, very expensive, and I'm keeping them well.
So,
But
so
yeah,
the so this switch from plant-based to vegan happened with this pigs being slaughtered video from PETA.
no, to be honest, this was what made me more and more uncomfortable. I was uncomfortable eating meat, but I was still doing it. The switch happened when an activist,
Mm.
Jules, showed out to Jules, that was as myself as well. He was not. He was a Greenpeace activist, as myself. I was coordinating the team, the fundraising team here in Berlin, and he was a very good activist from another city, I think from Hamburg, if I remember correct. He went to Berlin, and he was vegan abolitionist, and he also told me about Rafaela, the militant vegan. I got into this people that were super inspiring for me because they were talking this hardcore black and white line that made so much sense. Basically, Jules told me, look, Marco, because I was saying, look, if I want to have it once a month, if I want to go even to McDonald's once a month, I mean, if everyone would do it like this, it's better to be an imperfect vegan and have a lot of us rather than having a few perfect ones. You know, no one is perfect. Why should we, like? And then he told me this parallel. He said like doing something wrong, which could be, I don't know, you love your partner, you would never do her anything bad. So of course, doing it every now and then, while you can also not do it, is not enough. Like you should always respect her. You should always not rape kids. Maybe this, I don't know if you can say it we have to blur it, but you should never kill an innocent. It's not doing it once a year. You're like, I'm not a murderer. I just kill once a year for Christmas. I take my gun, I go out, but it's just for Christmas. I'm not a killer. This was my mentality. And Jules told me, Marco, this is nonsense. And I said, fuck, you're right. Fuck, you're right. Fuck, you're right.
Yeah, it's not about being a perfect vegan. It's about the fact that being vegan is just the baseline of
Yeah.
moral decency.
Yeah, yeah. It's the moral, and once we see this as the moral, then of course, at the baseline, you should not become an ex-vegan. You know, like I have people in my surrounding. Yesterday, I had a conversation with someone said, "I tried it for 11 months. Is enough. It was not doing me well. I'm back. Please don't. I will not do it. Let's talk about motorcycles." And like if you understand the why, then the how, you will find a way. But if you know why you should not do it, like even if let's say I really like to punch people, but now it's ingrained in us that we should not do it. I will find a how. I will punch a pillow. I will go to Muay Thai. I
Yeah,
will
yeah,
scream.
it's very good, very good, very. This is another very good point. Like you can be a psychopath and not practice your urge of being violent,
Of course.
and actually this is a very good point because when we do activism, we talk with a lot of people that seem good, like they talk to us like they are true empath, but
Yeah.
then they don't want to change. So, I'm moving towards thinking more and more that actions are much more important than even your character.
Of
And
course.
like if you think about killing people all the time, but you don't kill anyone and you're vegan,
Of
I'm
course.
sorry, but you're better than someone that pretend to be an empath that cries when sees
Of
suffering, but
course.
then kills animal every day because it's not, I don't know, maybe strong enough to select something that is 2 centimeters apart from the non-vegan option, and so
Of course.
the actions are define you much more than your feelings and the way you say and then your character.
1,000,000%. Not they define you more. This is all what matters is what you do, not what you think. Like I can think I have days in which I am loaded, and I don't know. I have very bad thoughts about people. I hate this person, even if I don't. I would like to kill this person. It's in my mind. This doesn't affect the person. So even if I have sometimes thoughts which are like we can do nothing about our thoughts. This is our
Just quickly, I want to introduce. I mean, I need to do it like this. I want to introduce Nina because now she is up, so I'm going to lose her. But yeah, I want to introduce her because she's also part of the reason why I made the connection with Animo.
Nina is very sweet. We love Nina. So what I was saying is that yes, I mean we can do nothing. This is also what I'm learning from my other coaches. Is that we can do nothing about our thoughts. Our first thoughts don't mean anything. Even if sometimes I think horrible thing of reaction when I'm stressed and my partner is saying something, my first thought is to say something super nasty or even to be violent. Maybe I have this reaction because I'm coming from maybe people that were violent actively. I mean, my father was violent. My grandfather on him was way more violent. So there might be something in my body that sometimes calls for a violent action. And I was violent when I was younger. I lift my hand on other people. I was beaten up by other kids. I beat up other kids. Not a lot. It was not extreme, but still it happened. And the fact that I still have this reaction thought, it's a thought, like it's I can do nothing about it, and it's okay as long as I don't act on it. I see it, acknowledge it, and then I do what's right. Even yesterday, as I said, I wanted to. For a moment, I thought, or maybe a very short parenthesis. It happens often that I want to say, "Oh my God, I fucking miss doing drugs or drinking alcohol." I have this thought, but I'm not acting on it. So, even if I think about taking drugs or drinking regularly, let's say, or more or less often, I'm a sober person. I'm a vegan person, even if I think sometimes about, I don't know, if I see a dog and I have the thought I would like to kick this dog in the face. Maybe I have this thought. But it can happen. Like the idea of this intrusive thought of seeing the dog like flying in the air like a cartoon. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I will tell you one thing. I know an activist here. She's incredible, one of the best person, and she has a racist Tourette. She has in her mind when she see people that are not, let's say, pink like us. She has aggressive Tourette in the mind, and she's an incredible activist. Like one of the best, maybe really one of the best people I know. And she has that, and she told me, "Look, I have this because." Her father is a
Guys, it's very brave to be so open about intrusive thoughts, by the way.
Yeah, it is. It is. It is brave. But we all have it. It's coming from our past generation. It's not even ours. It's not even mine. These things, the racism that she has. She had a fascist Nazi father. The grandfather probably was a Nazi as well. This was ingrained. This hate, you get it in your body, but it's not yours. These are not even our thoughts. Sometimes we are connected to the field of other people. We connect to the collective rage, and then we are super raging. But it's not even ours. So I am responsible for my choices and for my actions. For my thoughts, I'm not responsible. So I'm very open. I have thoughts which are not always nice, and I'm okay with it because I it's not mine. Like what is mine is what I do.
Makes sense.
So
Makes sense. All right. So, well, in my turn, when did I make the connection with animals? So for me, it was also, of course, an activist. Not in real life, though. I was researching online because I was going to start my online business. So I was going to start creating content. And when I was plant-based, I thought I was vegan. And so I researched like vegan activists, what they're doing, and I quickly realized that vegan activists were not talking about the environment, were not talking about health. They were focusing their activism on animals. And
can I shout out also to Rafaela? She really had also a huge impact on me. Once Jules, this activist, told me to follow Rafaela, and I saw her content. This resonated so much. So I wanna say hi and thanks to Rafaela Rapp. She's also a friend. We did also activism in the past together, and we're gonna do it in the future. So her content was resonating so much on a deep level that this made my brain be wired correctly because the content was really on point on that. Sorry to interrupt, but I had to say that because it was coming. I need to say that. And then other activists here in Berlin, Alex and Toby and Dennis,
Yeah.
are all great. But Rafaela was the first where I started to saw the video and see the people how they were reacting, and this made my brain, oh fuck, of course. So sorry, back to you.
Yeah, and by the way, you're not going to find Rafaela as her name, so you need to look for the militant vegan or die militante vegan
Yeah.
in German.
Yeah.
If you speak German, she's actually more active in German, I think.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so yeah, it was the activist that I found was Joy Carbstrong at first, and yeah, at the time he was having these debates with non-vegans with a phrase on his table that was saying, if you're not vegan, you're abusing animals. So very, very confronting. And he also was sharing at the same time with the debate video the animal agriculture footage. So there was this direct connection with, oh my God, what's happening there? And the words that he was repeating all the time, it was trying to explain to people that animals are not things. They're individuals, they're people, they're different, they have hair, they don't speak, but behind those eyes, there is someone. There is a person that wants to live and has many similarity to us. Actually, there are similarities that are at the core of our existence, which is having family, friends, desire to eat and drink, and not wanting to suffer. And so I literally, it's so simple, like, but I really needed someone to tell me this. Yeah. Because as I said, like my brain was wired to think otherwise. My brain was wired to think animals are instead resources. In fact, when I was vegan for the environment, of course I was plant-based for the environment, but I thought of myself of being vegan, as I said. And for the people that are listening, now you are learning. So use plant-based for when you're talking about the environment and when you're talking about the health benefits of a plant-based diet. But when we're using the word vegan and veganism, it is only about being against the injustice that animals are suffering. Okay, so let's make. I'm trying to explain you that I was also confused, but then I learned that the two things shouldn't be mixed together because it's just a wrong way to present veganism for multiple reasons. And it works very bad when you mix the two things. What I was saying, I don't know.
You were saying that you made
yeah, I got it. Yeah. So when I was plant-based for the environment, and like my girlfriend at the time, she was making a lot of resistance. Like she was plant-based for health, right? And for me, the environment was important because I feel like that I always had this altruistic approach to things. So I wanted to do something that was outside of me. And we had this discussion, I don't remember exactly, but she was like, no. If I'm vegan, it's plant-based, it's because of myself. You know, I'm thinking of me, not for the environment. And she said, what about the cows? I was like, what about the cows? You know, they're there because of this reason. I don't know. It really, you know, that's how I was wired. And also another time, and this was even an encounter that was so much more interesting. So in one of those New Year's Eve in which I was allowing myself to have seafood, there was a vegetarian. And you know, obviously, like, people knew me, and they knew I was never eating animal products for the rest of the year. And so the argument came up. So why are you eating seafood? Aren't you vegan? But obviously, no one really understood what I was doing, apart from this girl that said, you cannot be vegan 364 days per year. And in my mind, I was like, you know, like if everyone would do like me, the environment would be in a much better situation.
Yeah.
And she didn't say anything. And she didn't say anything at the time. I didn't connect the dots, but now I understand that she didn't say anything because she knew more about me. She was probably vegetarian because she thought she was doing something good for the animals. So if she would have said anything else, she would have even had to go vegan on the spot, or present herself as a hypocrite.
Yeah.
Absolutely crazy. I would love to talk with this girl and understand what was going on in her brain at this time. But after so much experience right now as an activist talking to people about veganism, I'm pretty sure she was a conscious hypocrite, you know. I don't know why she wouldn't go vegan. Maybe she was too weak. I didn't have the opportunity to to actually talk about it with her. So, Joy Carpstrong, animal agriculture footage, and yeah, then made me realize animals are individuals. Also, while I was watching Dominion and all of the torture and horrible practices that animals go through behind these products like meat, dairy, and eggs, there was Nina that I introduced you earlier, and she was chilling on the sofa, and I just saw that similarity. You know, like there's these pigs here forced to be in cages their whole life, and then there's Nina chilling on the sofa. She's just being, and you know, I realized that these pigs also would like to be on the sofa, and they definitely do not want to be hung upside down, having someone stabbing them in the neck, and yeah, and that made me feel horrible. Like I felt very sad. I had a very strong emotional reaction for multiple days. I was still researching, and every time I would, you know, watch a different documentary, I would have this very sad emotional reaction with crying, and 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 I think the reason why that resonated a lot with me, it's because I felt injustice on my skin to some degree with bullying, with being picked up, with having some emotional abuse as a child. So I think, and throughout my life, I've always been against injustice. I never liked the racist jokes. I never liked sexist jokes, even though I was in a sexist environment. But I never liked it. I never liked my friends like calling girls bitches and this is a slut or whatever. I never liked that. And so I feel like I was always a good person against injustice, but I was conditioned to discriminate animals, and this word and this process really allowed me to align my action with my true self, and I felt very aligned in that moment. I felt like I was of course going to be vegan because it's not okay to eat that fish once per year because that fish wants to live, and I was doing it only for pleasure. and I also got immediately motivated to become an animal rights activist, and I wanted to do what Joy Carpstrong was doing to help other people make the same connection that I made, because I thought all people needed was like a conversation and watch the videos, but then you realize that no, people made a lot more resistance towards making this change, and I just wanna say that the mindful man movement that we are creating, we really want to get to those people that are like us. They're going to listen to this and are going to be honest. Approach this with honesty with yourself.
Yeah.
You know, do not make excuse. Don't be those people that are scared of saying the truth, are scared to say this is wrong, and are so scared to admit that what they're doing is wrong that they start to create smoke screen that they don't even believe to rationalize their wrong action, saying things like plants feel pain too. You know, this is what I'm talking about right now. But don't be that person. Let's create a movement of just men, of honest men, and let's make the world a better place. Okay, and just wanted to quickly remind that, you know, we just told you our journey on how we became vegan, but I want to put light on the fact that if we had all in the information, we probably would have gone vegan before. But this is not about the vegan journey. It's about once you have the information, you have to change. It's a moral obligation, or otherwise you're being selfish. You are living in a hypocrisy, and you're showing weakness, which when it comes to like what we do in our coaching program, is not something we aligned with. You know, like you enter our coaching program to become a strong, confident man, You cannot be weak to the point that you cannot eat something different. That to do what's just. That's insane.
100%. And what I want to also say that I can say a past version of me, I was very afraid of losing so many um, great experiences because there is. I also learned from a psychologist, and she's a vegan coach. That, and this is something real. Many humans have so many past memories which are positive linked to eating animals, riding animals, using animals in abusive ways, but for them it's a nice core memory, and we are afraid we will lose this big part of our life enjoying food with friends, with family, while in reality nowadays, if you want to have an incredible cheeseburger, you can have it as a vegan because it's there and it's often even tastes better. The only thing is gonna not be as heavy on your stomach. You're gonna feel eventually a bit lighter after, and no one had to be tortured and slaughtered and cut into pieces for that. But you can have the same experience, and eventually you can invite your friends to try it, which I also did here in Berlin. I did some events at a vegan burger place, and even the non-vegans were like, "Wow, this is probably the best burger I ever had." Vegan pizza, vegan, like even me as a motorcycle rider, there is now Andromeda Moto, there is Virus, I don't remember the second part of the name, technology, leather jackets. Like today, you don't even have to be one of these pioneers that have to do their, I don't know, replacements themselves, that have to season tofu and to find, like, if you want to have something that is like chicken, there is like chicken, it's literally called like chicken. If you miss your mozzarella, there is the vegan mozzarella, and it tastes so close that even food experts, you know this you also put it in one of your song because you're also a DJ, and you mixed it in. There is this guy, that the sausage guy, that in a UK show, I think he had to try two sausages and tell which one is the plant based and which one is the animal meat, the sausage. And he tried one and said, okay, and then he tried, oh, this is a delicious, real. This tastes like cardboard, but this is the amazing one. Wow, it is a really luscious, delicious, juicy meat. Surprise, they were both vegan.
Yeah.
So, and in a cheese contest lately, vegan cheese. So we went to like people, but I love cheese so much. I love cheese so much. The in this contest, the cheese that won was not. They didn't say it officially at the beginning, but it was a vegan cheese. And after, when they won, they said, "Yes, thank you very much for the first prize. By the way, this is vegan." They took the prize away. Imagine.
Shit, the contenders, the one that made the cheese, didn't say the cheese was vegan, then they won. Wow.
Yeah, they
I
won.
didn't know that. I heard the story, but I didn't know no one knew the cheese was vegan.
So, and here, for example, in Berlin, I think also in other cities, there are, if you have an app which is a phone, an iPhone or whatever, you can download an app which is called Happy Cow, and you can always see if you're super hungry, if there is a place which is vegan or has vegan options near you. So, the easiness and also the beauty of discovering new is gonna make your life actually richer. So to those who are afraid to do this step and they're like, oh my god, I will miss so many things, you're gonna discover a lot of things. You're gonna discover a lot of things. The tastes are gonna be great. So yes, sometimes I do have the thought, oh my god, I miss this, but actually there is the equivalent in vegan also. So if you want to have processed foods, junk food, there is everything. So don't scare away to do it because it's really like not that much of a change in your life. Actually, probably it's gonna make your life even richer if you do it right. But it's so much difference in your ethics. And for the victims, on the other hand, it's about life and death. So we have to do it for the right reason, and you will find your community, you will find your grocery place, you will find your vegan restaurant around the corner. You're gonna shift your attention and discover a world that is already out there. So what we want to say is that there is no excuse to not do it. This is the time. It's more than
I'll just, But that definitely, that, as you said as well, it's about, it's easy for you to make a change, and for the animals it's everything.
Yeah.
And I just want to make sure that eventually, even though you do not have the best cheese in your grocery store, it's not a good excuse, not to change. When I changed, I went into rice and beans. Even today, to be honest, I don't really eat, because here's the way I see it. I think that if you are basing your kind of satisfaction and fulfillment and pleasure in life from food, I think you're not experiencing enough. Because, yeah, food might be good. Sure, you can have some very, very pleasant time eating, but it's 5 minutes. Like, it's literally like 5, 10 minutes. It's not a big deal at the end of the day. You should enjoy life through other things, relationships with people, with a partner, uh, sport, sex, uh, self-development. Those things should give you pleasure. Basing your life around, I'm going to eat this amazing burger. I think you're missing out in life, actually, if food pleasure is so important.
I don't know about that. I think everyone like can have it. I see that it's becoming less relevant for me because I have more things that were more relevant. It was more relevant in the past, and I'm not judging people that have it as a very important thing. But even simple foods like if you spice up rice and beans with a nice sauce, and if you eat mushrooms, if you eat nice vegetables and fruits, this is delicious food. We don't want you to eat sand and paper. Like if you eat a bowl with mango, banana, put lemon, and then you have nice nuts, coconuts. You can cook deliciously. Like if it's something that is very relevant for you, it's okay. Keep it. We don't want you to move away. Of course, if you find things which are even more meaningful than spending hours to find the perfect balance in things, which is something that I am more and more going to the basics because it's a habit thing. If you learn to enjoy bananas, apples, and oats, and some nuts, which is delicious, I swear. If you get used to that, I need less of the processed stuff. But it was a process, let's say that. And sometimes I even crave for a pizza with nice vegan cheese and whatnot. It's okay. But what I want to say is that the foods that we are having, you can have delicious things also with very simple stuff. Buy some good chili, buy some good pepper. If you want to use oils in our program, we try to minimize oils and fats, but this is not as important as it is to be vegan. This is the moral baseline. If you want to eat
Exactly.
French fries and mayonnaise all day, do it. It's not good for you, but I don't fucking care. So,
Vegan mayonnaise.
of course, vegan mayonnaise. No doubt about that. What I want to say is that if you really want to enjoy your food and you enjoy celebrating it, we have no problem with that. Enjoy it, find your receipts. We spend more time on other stuff because priorities are shifting. But if this is important for you, keep it. As long as it's vegan, it's all right.
100%. Since we are talking about the food, I'm just going to throw in something that we said in the last episode. So if you want to know more about nutrition, again, listen to our previous episode, but just make sure that you're eating enough calories. Okay, use a food tracking app as you're making changes in your diet, and make sure that you have control over your calories and everything is going to be good. You're going to feel much more energetic because animal products are also very, very, very unhealthy. People that say it's not true are completely crazy in 2025. Germany is a very good example. Like Germany has got now. Germany, I think, it's maybe the only probably country in the world that actually follows science kind of better than anyone else, and the food guidelines of Germany are actually mostly plant-based now. Okay, so it's clear you're going to feel better. Just make sure that you eat enough calories. So now I think what we can say, because maybe we can talk about activism in another episode.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the experience in society as a vegan, right? Because many people might be scared, apart from these, they actually be scared of the other part of it, which is being different in a non-vegan world.
Absolutely.
What is your experience with going vegan and engaging with the family and friends? What did you change? Yeah, go.
Thank you for this question. I think this is something that many people also this it scares them, even if when they know that it's right to do some things, they don't want to stand out. They don't want to be that person that is different and is not matching the habits of the others. It was for me also, like I had to go through that doubts and resistance, and I was afraid of that. And for a certain time, um, I acted in a way in which, how can I say, I was suffering under this a bit. I was trying to like to win my parents over very hard, telling them you have to watch Dominion, you have to watch Dominion, you have to watch it. My father watched it, and he went vegan, or at least is in the process. So a big change. My mother doesn't want to watch it. Maybe she will one day. I tried several times, but this resistance of fighting with them and also with friends was not serving me well. Like I had to, with friends I can choose more because they, like you can decide that this person, okay, does not align with my morals. I cannot stand this. I will spend less time with this person, and you make space for new. With parents, replacing your parents is not so easy. You can still reduce the contact you have with your parents to keep healthy, but after a while of banging heads and getting hurt, I understood it's better if I accept the things how they are. I made my point clear. I will not accept their habits to influence me, because at the beginning, when I was feeling my flexitarian things, when I was arriving, even though I was saying, Mama, I don't eat meat, she said, well, I did the chicken with the pepperoni and here, and said, and then I was super hungry. I said, you know what, I will eat a bit. But then I felt horrible. I said, no, what the fuck. So I will not be influenced anymore. I am not spending so much time with them because in general I don't need that, but I have a respectful way. I take this conversation out because it's just leading to clashes, and I am applying this everywhere. Like there are some friend groups that are not receptive, but I want I need to be in contact with these people. For example, I decided this year, I don't know if it's a right decision or not, but I decided this year to go back on the racetrack, and it's good to have some people that are going with you, because alone it's not the same experience. So yesterday I was in this group writing them, telling them to watch Dominion, but one guy said, look, you do you, I do I, but let's talk about motorcycles. And I said, well, I said, you know what, okay, let's take the conversation out for now. This is the link for the documentary. If you will watch it, it's gonna show you a lot of things that you don't know, I promise. Watch it from the beginning to the end. I don't know if they're gonna watch it or not. I share this, but I cannot have this as a thing. Otherwise, I tend to lose a lot of life quality that is important for me. And I will also, if I leave this group, if I leave my family, if I leave everyone, I'm gonna be the crazy hermit. Everyone is bad. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. And then I'm gonna be like, the world sucks. Then I cannot sleep. I will wake up with nightmares, which happened. All of this stuff happened. So, coming back to your question, I know I spiraled a bit back and left and right. It did impact me for a while. I had to have the courage to be the one that was different, but now I learned to deal with it. And for those who are afraid to do this, we can help, because we have been there, done that. So we can be of help of how to keep your relationship with your parents at a respectful way, to not see them as murderers, because they don't see it now. So it's like trying to press out juice out of a stone. You will not win. You can be calm, centered in your message. You can invite them. This is also my psychologist telling me, you can invite people to understand, but you cannot force them to understand. If you try to force things, it's like pushing is a magnet. You're gonna push them away. If
we can put them in jail.
Sorry?
We need to put them in jail otherwise. The only way to force them not to eat, we need to put them
Exactly.
in. It's going to be violence, physical violence. The
Exactly.
only way to actually force, but you cannot force an idea. You cannot force,
And
a
not,
point of view, let's say.
and not only you cannot force it, eventually this will lead to a lose-lose. Like you will lose the battle, you will lose the connection, they will lose trust in you, and you will lose life quality, and the animals will not win in this. So having a less confrontational thing with people around you that you want to have in your life for whatever reason, because they're your family or their friends, or you share an interest, you like training with them, going doing some sports, and they're not vegan. Taking a step back and inviting them and being in your energy and doing what you think is right and being clear on that, but without wanting them to do the same thing now, which is an energy that
Well, I mean, I think we can agree that we want them to do it.
we
You
want
know?
them to do it. But
Yeah, but yeah.
again, it's the action. Like my desire is them for fucking do it now. But if I bring this energy in the conversation, they're gonna say, Marco, what the fuck? You know what? Go
Yeah,
get
that's
lost.
true.
So
Yes, I agree.
we need to control our emotions to say, okay, I would like you to see this. I invite you for doing this. This is very important. But in the end, I cannot choose for you. If I could, I would, but we cannot. So we cannot become,
Yeah.
changing for them. So what I learned to do is, I'm learning still, because in these few years a lot changed, is to become more distanced by the others' choices. But of course, I appreciate all those, like my partner or other people that I talked, and within half an hour, they said, "Of course, I will go vegan. I never thought about that. Like, guys, you can do it. It's really possible. You can get the information. You can open your heart. You can be intellectually honest and say, this is the right thing to do. I will do it. We have, when we do activism, and Stefano is doing a lot, completely strangers, not mother, father, brother, cousin, friend, people that you never met. You show them the images, you explain them why, you explain them the urgency from the victim's perspective. They understand, they are honest, and they say, you know what, of course I will do it. And then you see them 2 months after joining the Cube, becoming activists, or they write you and I actually convinced also my mother. Like, guys, it is possible. Humans can change. You can do
Yeah.
it. You can learn and do it fast. You can surprise us and be one of those who get it right away and act right away. So
Yeah. Especially like if you think of yourself as a good and just person, because I see that when I do activism, right? I see and I feel people that are good. They see the injustice. They're honest about it. They're not making excuses. But on the other side, there is a little bit of influence from society that is not doing it.
yeah,
And so they are still on that, oh, I'm going to try, I'm going to think about it. Don't do that, especially when you're facing this information in a strong way, when you're facing this emotional reaction that is telling you that is wrong, you don't want to be part of it. Boom, be honest about it. Like, be strong. This is the fucking, I'm going to make a change. Feel empowered by it. Like, feel like feel empowered. I don't want to be part of this horrible injustice. Like, what the fuck is going on with humanity? Use that. Do not be like, oh my God, this is horrible. I'm going vegan in the future. No, I go vegan now. And by the way, you're so, if you're watching this, the 12 people that are going to watch this for now, I'm sure we're going to get a lot of people to this podcast. And
well, the reels on Instagram, they're getting 3,000-4,000 views sometimes. It's not just
yes, yeah. This is going to get a lot of people, and you watching this, you are so lucky because you are listening to not only vegans that have been vegans for a long time, but you're listening to people that are activists and they made strong changes and they truly, they're driven to change other people's mind. So this is something that is very close to our heart. It's very important to us, and it's not the same of listening the opinion of a vegan that he went vegan, but that's it. For him or her, it's not that important to talk about veganism.
Yeah.
So let's say for us that we have this so close to our heart, it's even more difficult to understand how to navigate life surrounded by non-vegans, because we truly want everyone to start respecting animals and change. We want to do it. And for me, it's the same thing that happened to Marco. Like when you go vegan, you're kind of angry. You want everyone to change, and you have these debates with family, friends, which are good. But if I had to change something, and that I suggest everyone does as well, is having this conversation without being driven by the emotions. And even though for you it's so clear that going vegan is the right thing to do, you need to understand that it's not clear for most people.
Yeah.
People are selfish. People are very influenced by the majority. People are weak and have problems in making a change and being honest with themselves. And that's just a fact. Even if it's not good, that's just a fact. So you need to accept that this is the world you live in. And something that I think helped me the most is I do not talk about veganism anymore in my social circle for the most part. The people that are close to me, of course, I'm going to make sure that they have all the information needed in order to take a rational decision. But once I've got the answer from them, and I have understood in which side they have decided to be, the side of the animals or not, I will stop having this conversation with them, because otherwise you will drain your energies.
Yeah.
Because this is something so important for you. For this person is not that important, and when you bring up veganism, you will be hurt.
Yeah.
And they will not feel hurt. It's going to be more about you than them.
Yeah.
So it's you need to learn how to preserve your energy in this non-vegan world. And then if you really have this fire inside of you that you do want to change people, then I suggest you do not focus on your circle and you do activism, because this is what I realized. I don't have to always talk about veganism. I do so much activism, and I can focus my fire of wanting a change in the world when I do activism. But when I have social interaction and everything, especially because I don't have a lot of vegan friends close to me, and for the most part I interact with non-vegans, we are humans, and we need human connection, human interaction. And these humans interaction, they cannot be always negative. They cannot always be arguments or debates. And so, since it's a fact that most of the time there will be debates, I decided not to bring up the argument unless they bring it up. If they bring it up, I'm ready to fire. And of course, most of the time they bring it up. But again, I've also learned it to bring up the argument in a way that is more rational, more guiding, and people will still attack you and backlash to you. But I also learned that when there is that energy, then it's better to close the conversation, because it's just going to become a unproductive debate that is going to make you angry.
Yeah.
And so that's the thing. I think I covered the kind of everything that I wanted to say around kind of living. Yeah. No, another thing that I wanted to say is also, do not be yourself. It's okay to be an extreme vegan. Absolutely okay. Like if that feels good to you, boom, talk about veganism all the time. All right. But be aware of how that is affecting you. Like for me, for example, the reason why I would feel very good about having these debates all the time if I had a vegan friend beside me, a vegan girlfriend beside me that is holding my hand in this. You know, if I need, have one more person that is vegan beside me that truly aligns with my value and is ready to be on my side, on the side of the animals, I would fight all the time. Any dinner, you know, any dinner, I would be happy to talk about veganism and have kind of a passionate talk defending animals against non-vegans who are defending their position of not wanting to change. I'll be very happy if I had only one person beside me that is vegan.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna
You
happen.
know, it's going to happen. I love it, and it happened in the past, and it felt very very good. But yeah, so what I'm saying is find your own balance. You know, protect your energy, navigate this non-vegan world as a vegan, being conscious of how interaction are affecting you.
Yeah.
But also do not shy away from the fact that this value, it is important for you. Do not ignore it, because that's also not going to do good to your mental health. Do your best to surround yourself by more and more vegans. Doing activism is a great thing to do, for example, to find people that align with your values. But if you need to stay in city and if you need to change city and go to Berlin, do it. And you want to go to a more vegan city, do it. You know, like I felt bad when I was working in a bar as a bartender and I was watching all the animal products coming out. I didn't feel comfortable, and I felt much better when I started to be a personal trainer and I didn't have to watch animal products at the time. And the same thing, I felt a lot better when I went from not went from working with non-vegans as well, and I felt uncomfortable about talking about nutrition because they were always talking about should I eat the chicken or should I eat the fish? And I was like, I don't want to talk about it, you know. And now we have created a coaching program that wants to help people through as vegans. So we promote plant-based nutrition, and that feels very aligned to me. Okay, so do that. You put that effort on making sure that you are trying more and more to surround yourself by vegans. Of course, again, be yourself as well. If you do not give a shit about having non-vegan friend, it's fine too. You know, for me, I cannot do it. Non-vegan girlfriend, fuck that, impossible. I really even sex with non-vegans for me is difficult because I can be very very attracted.
Yeah.
And it only happened when I was high or drunk, actually, that I had sex with non-vegans. But even in those moments, you know, the vegan conversation came up, and they say something stupid against animals. I was like, but you're pretty, it's super hot. I'm also high, so you're even hotter. But fuck, you lost it. You know? You lost it. So for me, this is how I feel, and it's important for me. So listen to the way you feel. Do not force yourself. You know, you don't force yourself, right? Makes sense, Marco?
It makes sense. I mean, what I can underline and what I took from you and that resonates a lot is that it's worth to fight for the things which are important for you, and also to find ways to step by step align even your life gradually to what is more right for you. For example, in the past, I was okay to have a non-vegan flatmate. She was living here. I tried several times to influence her, but she didn't understand. She didn't want to watch Dominion, and it was a big fight. Now I'm sure. I mean, now I live with my partner. She's vegan, but I will never have a non-vegan flatmate. You know, like I'm setting boundaries. You know, like there are some things which are not I cannot deal with anymore, and that's okay. And I'm happy that I know that because I'm discovering more how to take care of myself. So also job-wise, I did work in Berghain, which is an amazing club here in Berlin. but they were having also animal products like the milk. They had the oat milk, but also the normal milk, and this was super disturbing for me. Like being in a LGBTQ plus amazing club, the best club in the world. Literally, it really is. It's amazing. I love that place. But then having like this inconsistency and serving there that like the fruit of child abuse and of sexual assault, because like for milk, sexual assault and child abuse will always happen. So if you're choosing for a piece of cheese or some milk or a product, a cake that has some milk, you are paying for child abuse and for sexual violence towards a mother, and in the end also murder. So these are very big things, and that they are happening in a club which is one of the most open, where gay people can be naked and queer. I met there my transgender ex-girlfriend. Like I love that place for so many things, but that thing was very inconsistent, and it really felt off. And now I can work and make a living out of helping people that are either already vegan or are willing to have a serious conversation and go vegan in the program. So I'm either empowering those who already got it, or we are gonna have people that will get it. They're open to get it, and like this is a big step. Of course, it was not as sure as working as a bartender or working in the past in real estate where I was doing money, or for Greenpeace. But Greenpeace is also not a vegan organization, and here I wanna.
I stopped. I stopped giving. I used to give money to Greenpeace.
Me too.
After
No.
conspiracy, I stopped
Yeah.
because I realized that they're greenwashing. They're not actually doing all they have to do if they want to protect the environment.
Yeah.
And so, yeah,
Yeah.
I
It really
prefer
does.
to
Sorry.
I prefer to just keep the money for myself, because at the end of the day, I do a lot of animal rights activism. I need the gas for the car. I'm traveling, and there is equipment that we need. So I think that for me personally, it's okay if I keep the money. I don't donate because I can invest in myself. I do a lot of activism.
100%. I mean, I learned this as well. Before I was feeling good in donating, I had 10 organizations I was giving money to for the environment. I tried to collect money for the environment because I was not vegan. So for me, the environment was the most important thing. I thought, okay, that's it. But then when I went vegan, and here again I will connect to the effect with Jules, as well as Jules that was vegan, as myself. At a certain point, we tried to make Greenpeace understand this connection and align their politics with their ethics. But there were a lot of campaigners and people that were higher than us. They were not vegan, and they were so afraid to lose a big part
Yeah,
of the money, basically of the donors, if they would say, guys, instead of promoting this world health environmental diet, which can include some animal products, they would say, guys, it's not right we are for human rights. The logic extension of human rights is animal rights. They are individuals. We should never exploit them. Not sometimes, as much as they say war should end, and not like, I mean, if we do a bit of war, if we kill a few kids, but not as many, that's already something. So if you go out, please don't kill more than 3 kids a day, okay? That's okay. They would never say that. We say, what? You're for
yeah,
no,
yeah.
yeah, but if these kids were humanely raised and like they're a bit different, maybe they have a different hair color. I mean, and if you do it consciously, maybe like you can rape them, you can kill them, but not too much, and
Yeah, no,
be
no,
nice before you do that. Like invite,
absolutely.
like this is insane. So when this became clear and I was becoming loud in the organization, basically they didn't want me anymore
Okay,
as a
that's good.
as a
It's
coach.
a good way of getting fired. I like it.
Yeah. And they fired also the other vegan activist because he was in the talks with the people. He was bringing also this message through, and they was like, but we are not PETA. We are not a vegan organization. We are about environment. Or vegan should not be everything. And oh my God, vegan. Oh, because they were not vegan, so they didn't understand how it's at the root and the base of what they also want is to have that. If you don't have this missing foundation, it's like the basement. If you want to build a castle, you cannot start from the roof. And everyone wants to start from the roof, but they don't want to start with the basement. You have to understand the basement to build a future. And this goes on all levels. This is why vegans are so, because they understood that this is the foundation, the base to create a future that is gonna be peaceful, no war, no discrimination, no sexual violence. This can only start if we eradicate the root of this. This is why we say radical, and radical is good, because you cannot eradicate this evil if you don't eradicate the root of it. And the root is how we are behaving to the most vulnerable ones.
Yeah, this is something that the OG of animal rights, Gary Yourofsky, says as well in an interview. Like if we teach children to respect and not discriminate animals, how do you think they're going to grow up to think that it's okay to discriminate people? And this is going to be definitely a better world. I think we covered a lot of things. No, Marco, should we add anything to this podcast?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is it. This last part was very important to me, is for people to understand that if you want to have a just life, you want to have peace, you have to do this change. You cannot build a good future on hypocrisy. You cannot build a healthy foundation for the future life you want to have on a rotten and unstable foundation.
Absolutely.
So this first step has to happen, and you have to do it, even if it might feel uncomfortable, even if it's gonna be uncomfortable to some extent. It's gonna be the right way. It's like, you know, like the base that is gonna make you get in the direction that you want everything to happen. So reach out, let us know, and we're gonna be happy to be in touch with you.
100%. If you are a man, obviously we're talking to men and women if you're listening, but specifically if you are a man and you are aligning with this, you're good, you want to do what's just, and after this you have decided to go vegan, and you feel like you're someone that wants to have a positive impact to the world, that it has an altruistic mission, and you want to be the best version of yourself doing that, you want to be confident, you want to be a strong person, then we can help you with our Kali Vegan 2.0 program, building muscle, getting shredded, and develop this discipline and tough, structured mindset that's going to allow you also to grow in all the other areas of your life. We also focus on helping you with improving your mental health. Marco is going to really focus on that, and improving your relationships, so you can attract the right people in your life. And you have 2 coaches, one-to-one support, personalized training and nutrition plan. The training is focused on calisthenics, bodyweight training, so you can train at home. You don't need to go to a gym. If you're interested, just there you go. Look at that. If you're interested, you can go to my Instagram, Stefano Vegan Calisthenics, and DM me the word Kali Vegan, or actually DM me the word MMM. So we know that you're coming from the podcast, and we'll have a conversation about your fitness goals and help you become the best version of yourself. And obviously, like, subscribe, comment, and really comment, because Marco said that there is people that told him that they like the podcast, but I don't see the comments. So if you like the podcast, comment. Help us grow, because if you don't comment, the algorithm doesn't know we're good, and we're not going to grow. And so that's important. All right, let's close this.
Thank you very much.
3. Boom. Let's go.
Bye.
Ciao, ciao.
Ciao, ciao.